Hi there, and welcome to chapter 48. 3 more to go, including this one. So, Mr. Müller just revealed his big plan and his theory behind it, which of course completely failed. Es war alles perfekt geplant, not much to explain from my side. Let it sink in for a second if you want. And I'll prepare the next sentence. Ich habe schon ein nettes Ehepaar gefunden, das die Hunde gerne kaufen möchte. So, habe gefunden, kaufen möchte. I have found the dogs would like to buy. So he has found what? Ein nettes Ehepaar. Net is related to net, like netto, and that simply means clean or pure, rein as we had before. So, and somehow that turned into neat. If something is pure, we think it's neat or nice. So it's a neat, I like neat because it looks like net. Ehepaar, well, it's a pair. And Ehe is kind of, I think it comes from, I think it's ewig, which means eternal. Isn't that beautiful? And that, of course, an eternal pair is a married couple. Yeah, I know, very few of those are eternal, but it's a lovely sentiment. That the hounds, the dogs, with pleasure wanted, would like to buy. Yeah, and you see, we don't say to buy, so it's always a bit tricky when you have möchte. I hear lots of learners to use zu kaufen möchte, because that's from English. I would like to buy. Yeah, it's so ingrained. You really have to fight this urge actively. We very rarely put it zu here. And the unfortunate thing is, we are not consistent. We use the zu quite a lot of times when it's also fine in English. So he has already found someone that would have bought them. Sie kommen heute Nachmittag vorbei. Sie is referring, of course, to the couple. They come today after midday, after lunch, afternoon. They come over in order to. Zu is in order to. And sie here, of course, is another sie. It's not that sie. Them. To. Germans love to fetch their beer from a hole because it's cool there. So basically to get them. Simone bleibt am Ball. Well, I already gave that away. Stay on the ball. She stays on the ball, and that's also the translation. She wants to know, like, what else he planned, and why he did certain things, like und die Leinen- und Futternäpfe im Keller von Herrn Fischer, the neighbor, you remember, the unfriendly one, and the leashes, Leine. Did I look this up back then? Well, it is related to a line made of linen, maybe. No, that's the mnemonic. So imagine there's a line made of linen. The linen is just to remember it, and it's a leash for a dog. If you have yeah, and dog leashes, everybody knows, are made of linen. And fodder nappies, bowls for the fodder in the cellar of Herrn Fischer. So why did he do that? Herr Müller schaut genervt an die Zimmerdecke. Well, she gets on his nerves and he looks up to the Zimmerdecke, to the room, Hans Zimmer and his little room, and the Decke is a ceiling here. It could be a blanket, but the blanket is not up there, it would be down here, so if you look up, it cannot be a blanket. Well, somehow it is related to a thatch, but I'm not sure how I get from Decke to a thatch. I know the TH and the D, I get there, but the CK and the Ch, yeah, with a bit of fantasy. No? So. Ich wusste nicht, I did not know, past, I knew not, that Angelo suffered immediately, sofort, I suffered immediately, a detective bureau of investigations beauftragt. Well, tragen is to carry up, and beauftragen is simply to hire. Give someone an Auftrag. How would you say an Auftrag is kind of an order, yeah, or a job, yeah. So kind of to give someone an order to hire. So I know there's a difference between giving an order and to hire, but in this case, you really use that for hiring a freelancer, for example, or a detective agency. Also, so must I, quickly, den Verdacht contains thinking, and if it's fair thinking, you make suspicious ideas. So he had to lenk the suspicion auf jemand anderen, towards or onto man, someone, other. Under is always other, keep that in mind. And lenken, what does it mean? Lenken, to steer. Yeah. Here's a fun fact, Gelenk. Somehow it's what helps you steer your body, and that is your joint. Isn't that beautiful? And then you have Steuer in a car, that's your steering wheel. But you also have die Steuer, which is the tax, and somehow taxes are steering where everything is going. Yeah. So he had to steer the suspicion onto someone else. Stefan ruft böse. Böse kind of comes from boasting, and if you boast too much, it kind of becomes obvious that there is not much value, lose value, and so that makes many people angry, and therefore he angrily calls or says. Rufen means to call, could also be to shout in this context. Yeah. Anrufen would be on the phone. Sie waren das im Keller. You were this in the cellar. Of course, he's angry about that. Sie haben mich bewusstlos geschlagen. And bewusstlos, you lose your wisdom, which means your consciousness. And of course, that translates into unconscious. So you have me unconscious, geschlagen, related to slaughter, which simply means to beat or to hit. And remember the German word Schlager? Officially it would be a hit, but Schlager is a kind of really weird, yeah, you look up in the internet Deutscher Schlager and then you would see what that is. There are some hits in there, but that's just because people are usually deaf that listen to this, so you get it. It's not. It's a very unique form of music. Maybe it's faintly related to disco polo in Poland. Das tut mir leid. That does me pain. So that means I am sorry. Yeah, it's quite empathetic to say that, I find. Aber ihr habt mich überrascht. You rushed me, yeah, overly. So überrascht. Surprise. In French or in English you are taken over. Prise, I think, has to do with taking, and sur means über. But you have me surprised. Ich war gestresst, easy, right? Und ich wollte nur raus, heraus, outside, out of the cellar. I wanted only outside of the cellar. And he repeats himself. The end is tut mir leid. You can also add, es tut mir wirklich leid, I'm really sorry. It really does me pain. That was chapter 48. 2 more to go.